Hello Earthlings! In this week's video I'm gonna do my June overview, or how I'm going to call these videos from now on, my June wrap-up. I figured since all of the other booktubers call it wrap-up, I might as well just call it wrap-up. And also my rather tiny TBR for next month. If you thought that the 8 books I read last month were a lot, then be prepared for this month. Because I read 11 books this month. The first book I finished this month was Harry Potter und der Stein der Weisen, which I was reading to my sister. I loved to reread this book because it's Harry Potter, duh. The second book I finished this month is Clockwork Prince. I loved it. It took me a bit to read it through just because I was reading it very slowly so I could enjoy it more. I picked up Clockwork Princess immediately after finishing Clockwork Prince, but I have not yet finished it because I want to enjoy it as long as it lasts, so I make it last a long time. The third book I finished this month was Die Geheimnisse des Nicolas Flamel, der dunkle Magier. The English title is The Secrets of the Immortal Nicolas Flamel, the Magician. This is the second book in the series and my rereading is going strong. The fourth book I finished this month is Die Geheimnisse des Nicolas Flamel, die mächtige Zauberin. The English title is The Secrets of the Immortal Nicolas Flamel, the Sorceress. This is the third book in the series and I finished this within a few days, so still going strong. I started the Maze Runner series this month and at some point I found myself with 3 final books. So I had to choose, do I read Death Cure, Clockwork Princess or Allegiant? This makes Allegiant the 5th book I finished this month. I'm not sure how I feel about this book. This book will still remain on my list of books that I had a hard time to finish because I just couldn't really get it started, and I had this issue where I kept confusing Triss and Tobias, and that led to really weird situations. I'm somewhat relieved to be finally finished with this series. Not my most favorite series, definitely not, but I really liked it. It was a good series. Because I didn't feel like either finishing the Infernal Devices series or the Maze Runner trilogy, I picked up the Endgames by T. Michael Martin. This book was probably the one that was the most gripping. I was literally at the edge of my seat. I usually don't do this anymore, I used to do it all the time, but with this book I really had to read the last page to know how it was going to end, because I didn't know where I was going and that was completely confusing me and unsettling me. So I basically only have one word for this book, and this is intense. So after the Endgames I couldn't really contain myself and I had to pick up The Death Cure. As I have already told you, I have obviously finished the Maze Runner and the Scorch trials before. I adore this series, it is amazing, it is something very different, and I do have my issues with the series, but I'm gonna talk about that in a full review video of this series because this is amazing. I love this series. This was such a good read. This was the highlight of this month. And to finish up and balance out my reading, I also read 2 classics, which is The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway and The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Usually when I'm reading classics, I feel like I'm missing the point. These books are supposed to be very important literature, and I do see that these are nice stories, but I don't really see the difference between The Catcher in the Rye and, for instance, The Fault in Our Stars. I might just be too stupid to read classics, and it might be because all of these books are set in the 20th century. I just don't really get this whole 1920s feeling that you have in here, and also in The Great Gatsby. I just don't understand that lifestyle. And I'm usually okay when people drink and smoke, but I'm not okay with this amount of drinking and smoking. And if you have read these books, you know what I mean. It's really an excessive amount of drinking and smoking and everything. I could rant about this for about an hour, so I'm gonna stop here, but classics, yay. So that were the 11 books I read this month. And now on to my to be read for next month. Next month I'm not going to be doing as much reading as I did this month, simply because it is exam time of the year. So there are basically only 3 things on my TBR. The first book I'm going to be picking up, and that I've actually already started, is Silber, das zweite Buch der Träume by Kerstin Gier. There is no English translation as of yet. I just got my hands on this book. I went to a book signing on the 28th of June and it is signed. I'm going to tell you more about this book and the whole series when I'm doing my wrap up of July next month, so stay tuned for that. The second book I am going to pick up as soon as I finish Clockwork Princess is City of Heavenly Fire. On the one hand, I have waited for this book a very long time and I'm really anxious to get in, but on the other hand, I am really afraid because this is the last book in the series, the last installment, and when I finished this and I also finished Clockwork Princess, there's no more things in this world. I don't want that. Oh, why do things always have to end? The third and final item on my TBR for July is the Selection series by Kira Cass. I have heard a lot of things about this series and I'm really anxious to get into it. I do think that this is going to be a very easy read. They sound amazing and I'm really looking forward to reading them. So here you have it. This is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more and stuff, and like and subscribe if you want to. You can also share this video if you like. So as always, I'm going to link Ellie's last video here and my last video here, so you can click it. And now I'm just gonna stand here for a few seconds and talk to you. I have the Lord of the Rings and all the stuff on this shelf now. You can look at my Lord of the Rings stuff now. Okay, that was enough. You had enough time to click. Thanks. Bye!